Marvey v. Madison, 1803. Marvey v. Madison may very well be one of the most influential cases in American history.
To understand this case, however, we need to understand the background. This court case has its roots deep in the election of 1800, where Thomas Jefferson and John Adams had to run for president. Who, out of the two candidates, would you have elected?
Though Thomas Jefferson easily won the popular vote, he did not win the election. It was due to the fact that a few months before the election, Adams dragged out the Federalist Party through the Alien and Sedition Act and the XYZ affair.
These had influenced the election heavily and ultimately lost it for the Federalist Party. Now, what party was Adams and how did his ideals conflict with the Democratic Republicans? With this shift in power for the now ousted Federalist Party, Adams thought of a way to use the Federalists' power to keep them in the running in the federal government. During his last 2 days in office, he quickly nominated 60 Federalists, or in this situation, known as anti-Jeffersonians, for the positions of Circuit Judge and Justice of Peace. What do you think the thought process was when John Adams was in this situation? During this time, Congress had been working with Adams through the passing of the Judiciary Act of 1801, also known as the Midnight Judges Act. The Senate then quickly approved the soon-to-be-appointed judges, and so forth came the night of the Midnight Judges, one of them being William Marbury.
John Marshall, Supreme Court Justice of the time, had then asked his younger brother, James Marshall, to dispatch the commission out to those appointed.
With just a single day left till Thomas Jefferson's inauguration, he was able to deliver most of the commissions. However, some were not delivered. William Marbury was one of those who had not gotten his letter delivered to him. Jefferson was unamused with the hijinks that the previous administration had tried, and to try and prevent this, James Madison withheld the commissions as they believed that the commissions weren't valid due to them not being delivered on time. This had upset Marbury, who then petitioned for a writ of mandamus. This is an official order from a court to a lower government official, telling them to carry out their official duties, which in this case is Madison's duty to deliver the commissions. What Marbury was arguing was that he had the right to petition for his commission in court, and that Madison should have given him the commission. Madison had then argued that since the commission wasn't delivered to Marbury, his appointment to the position of Justice of Peace could be revoked by the new president, Thomas Jefferson. Before we continue, who do you think had won the case?
This was shown to be a case in which Marbury won, in which Marshall should have gotten his commission, but the court could not force Madison to deliver it. In Marshall's words, to withhold the commission, therefore, is an act deemed by the court not warranted by law, but violated of a vessel's legal right. This case, although gone in Marshall's favor, allowed for the Supreme Court to review the Judicial Act of 1801, which had come into conflict with Article 3 of the Constitution. This ruling of the Judiciary Act of 1801 as unconstitutional had, though not explicitly stated in the Constitution, allowed for the Supreme Court to establish the principle of judicial review and gave the Supreme Court its power.
The power to change laws that have been set in place has allowed for many laws, such as the cases of Harper v. Board, Gideon v. Wainwright, and what may be the most pertinent case, Brown v. Board.